we are doing another review. This is the 1931 Frankenstein. Pardon my hair. It's been quite a day. Alright, so this is the second out of probably about 20 reviews for the original Universal Monsters movie collection. This originally started with the classic 1931 Dracula, and of course now we have Boris Karloff as Frankenstein. This film is amazing. I've got quite a lot of notes on this one, so this one might take a while. Well, hopefully not. Okay, so, Frankenstein, a classic monster, like all of them, but probably, I'd maybe say Frankenstein is the most famous monster. Well, because it is the monster, and not actually Frankenstein, because that's the scientist, as we all probably know by now. Or actually his father, or actually his son. It depends on what film you're watching. Acting, so Colin Clive plays the Dr. Frankenstein. I don't know what his actual first name is. Something British, who really cares. But his performance, this is Colin Clive. Colin Clive is fantastic. He's absolutely fantastic. He plays the perfect amount of sane with insane as well when he's, you know, his whole it's alive thing. It's just amazing. He has fantastic small little monologues about creation and about what it's like to be God and stuff like that. And it's mesmerizing, his performance. I did find out, because I am watching all the documentaries that are also on these DVDs. I have found out that he was quite that kind of a person who you know, kind of a Jekyll Hyde kind of person. If he's drunk, he can be insane, but if he's sober, he can be fine, kind of thing. So it somewhat fit his performance, and it's fantastic to watch. Who we have? We got Boris Karloff as the monster, and it's a defining role. It's fantastic. It's just like Dracula, except innocent, not sexual. Far from it. He's a horrifying creature, but really, of course, for kids and a lot of other people, you can notice this empathy with him, because he's such an innocent character brought into a world that he doesn't want to be in, and a world that he knows not the rules of or anything, and it is quite exceptional, his performance. And the whole, even the backstory. I won't dive too much into the history of these films much, but I like the idea that I know this stuff as well. And lastly, I want to mention Dwight Fryer, who was the crazy guy from the Dracula film. He plays Fritz, otherwise who I call the hunchback assistant, because he is a hunchback, though not noted as that. He's got a short role in the film. Like, he's only in it for the first half an hour, 35 minutes. And it's amazing. His role is fantastic. He's just he doesn't really have a difference from at the start of the film he's sane to later in the film he's mad. In this case, he's completely crazy. As an overall, the acting from even the extras and the other minor characters of the cast is fantastic. It's very compelling, very interesting. It dives you into the film. It's fantastic. The directing from James Whale, he's made a masterful film here. There probably could be. It's definitely an upgrade from Dracula. Dracula, in my opinion, the only thing that really lures you into it is the main star, and that makes sense because that's also what his character does in the film. He lures you in. And with Frankenstein, it's everything about the film. To go into writing, from what I can tell, it's well written, quite enjoyable. There are problems with the third act for how certain events are brought up, like how people know about a certain character's death, and how people know that another character died and stuff like that. And it's more of, you don't know how this stuff is known, but it seems fine. It's just for the plot. It's fine. It makes parts very dramatic. Definitely. They even have the guy who played, because obviously it's back in the days when a lot of people were contracted by companies, the man who was in the original Dracula film, which I unfortunately left in the goddamn lounge room, who played Van Helsing in Dracula, is in this film, but plays a different character. He just plays a scientist, a doctor of some kind. Yeah. But it was just interesting because I mean, isn't that the same guy from the other film? And it just confused me. But then of course, Fryer is in it as well. So yeah, I mean, I can't complain. I'm reading off my iPod. I've got notes in case you're wondering. All right. So does it hold up? It has wonderful effects, wonderful characters. The makeup on the creature is outstanding. The whole effect of the film as well, that with its themes and its depictions, is incredible and it's fantastic to watch. So, I mean, this is a film that I definitely... I'll get to my overall review in a second. So much is flying from my head right now. It's such a fantastic film. Overall feel of it. Well, you have empathy for the creature, no doubt. I mean, it's a fearful creature. Like, you see it, he's very drone-like, but then that's when he's first present. And then when he sees the sun, and he becomes this lifelike character, and he meets the kid, and he seems very much like a kid himself. Of course, he doesn't know what he's new to this world, as much as he has the brain of a killer. That really doesn't play much effect into it. That more or less gives you the idea of why is he mindlessly killing people? Because he has the brain of a killer, but he just happens to be mostly the brain of a newborn in a way, of a child, and it's quite excellent to watch. It's quite violent for its time. This being 1931, there are multiple deaths. Like there's a couple of hangings. There's already a couple of dead people at the start of the film. I mean, the first scene is someone being buried, and then Frankenstein and Fritz go over and dig up the corpse. And yeah, there's a lot of dark, violent themes to it. A lot of death. I mean, a little girl gets drowned. It's not one of those forceful drownings where they're holding them up the water. It's more that time when people didn't know how to swim, so literally Frankenstein picks up a girl, throws her into... Not Frankenstein. Frankenstein's monster picks up the girl, throws her into the water, and it's just... Cut to the next scene, a couple minutes, and you're like, what the hell just happened? And then the father of the daughter is walking there with her limp body, and it has some dark imagery, definitely. And even the way that the monster is defeated by the end of the film is quite chilling. But it's an excellent film. It's an excellent way to really look at this with the themes of like discrimination and societal flaws and stuff like that. But like it has these other themes of like this motif of creation, like Frankenstein himself wants to create. He wants to feel like God, and that's kind of seems ironic in a way because he's getting married in the film. And I mean, the one thing his dad keeps talking about, the Baron, he's like, we want to continue the House of Frankenstein. And I'm just like, it kind of seems weird that the scientist Frankenstein wants to create life, and so he chooses to create a monster rather than having a child and creating life that way. And I just find that quite an interesting idea. And of course that's picked up throughout later films, especially in Son of Frankenstein, which I'll get to reviewing very soon once I watch it. So rewatchability, the final link in the chain. It's easily... I'd rewatch it any day, to be honest. It's a very memorable film, but it's so good that you can watch it as many times over and over and not get tired of it. There are some slow moments in the middle of it. I think, like, I was trying to think, like, the Dracula was very slow. But, and even the violent death scenes, which are not even that violent, just like, ooh, it's not really that violent. It's very different than Frankenstein. Frankenstein is much more of a is a much more violent film, but it's much quicker. Like, it starts off with, we're making this monster, and it's all the effects of that. It's not the lead up to the monster, like most modern day Frankenstein films are. It's, and have a small fight scene with the monster after, because they realize, oh no, it's actually a murderer. This is actually a long thing where the monster is one of the main parts of the film, but it's definitely a juxtaposition between Frankenstein and his monster. Which is very nice. It's very nicely done. I think it's got excellent effects, it's got excellent acting, excellent directing. It's a very effective film in its overall message, and I would definitely recommend it. It's a worthwhile film to watch, no doubt about it. I think it's fantastic. It's a mesmerizing film. It's absolutely brilliant. My only one concern is the actual part where Frankenstein gets thrown off the mill, and his back hits the turner of the mill, the actual mill part, I believe, the windmill part of it, and it's just so obviously a dummy, but it's great to watch. Like, it's the only cheap effect in the whole entire film, and I love it. And my only concern is, how is he not dead in the end? He just isn't. It's weird, but yeah, fantastic film. I would give it 20 brains out of 20. Make sure 5 of them are zombified, and the rest of them are just normal brains. I don't know how I'm gonna get a zombified brain in post. Do you know how to do it? No? Jeremy's still behind the camera. Anyway, thank you for watching this review. I hope you have enjoyed it. Feel free to like, share, subscribe for more telecreations. There will be more of these reviews to come. I still have the rest of the Frankenstein films, this is the Legacy Collection. I only had the one Dracula film, so I do apologize about that. I don't really care much to watch the rest of them anyway, but if I can get my hands on them, I will. As it goes, we have Bride of Frankenstein left to watch, Son of Frankenstein, Ghost of Frankenstein, and House of Frankenstein. We have The Mummy, which will be coming up next. I'm going in order of release. There's also the Wolfman collection. I will be doing Werewolf of London to begin with, as that was the first film. Then they had the Wolfman. And I probably will also do She-Wolf. Definitely going to do Werewolf meets Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. Definitely. We'll be doing Phantom of the Opera as well, and Metropolis, and probably Nosferatu as well. I'm getting really into these classics. Of course, they're not all in the whole Monsters universe, but... oh, I mean, Phantom of the Opera is. But yeah, I'll do my best to watch all of these, and then we'll have Invaders from Space. Simple as that. So yeah, stay tuned for all of them, and I hope you have enjoyed. And I will do my best to get the Abbott and Costello films, mainly the ones where they meet the Mummy and the Invisible Man and all those other creatures, as well as I am also trying to buy the Legacy collections for both the Invisible Man and the Creature from the Black Lagoon. So by the end of this year, hopefully, those will all be in my collection and ready to be reviewed. So stay tuned for all of those. You still have about 20 more films to go. Yay. Let's go watch The Mummy. And I'm gonna clean my hair. I'm sorry about this. I was having fun. Bye.